Hey guys, what's up, everybody? We're back for another episode of Rooting for Laundry. This is episode six on Monday. It's a Monday, as we always do around this time. So thank you for riding with us. If you haven't followed, it's Instagram, Twitter, Root for Laundry. So go follow us. It's a good follow, I guess. Today we're going to talk about the New York Jets, personal favorite team of mine. So I suffer from being a Jet fan for a very long time. Shout out to the Jet fans who are listening to this. If you are, if you're not, I don't blame you. There's really nothing good to talk about. It's been, it's been an okay franchise. Well, no, I don't know. It's a lot of ups, but a lot of downs. Most times you hear about the Jets, you hear about the Joe Namath. And most of us weren't alive then. So we don't know what happened during the Joe Namath time. But thank you again for joining us. Jet fans are a fan of sports. There's a sports fandom show. So if you're with us, we thank you again. And joining us, this is a really fun show because this is one of my good friends. We went to Jet games together. We suffer. We have pretty good stories, so this should be fun. Joining me is he's a comedian and a filmmaker. If you never watched the documentaries Hungry, which is a good one about competitive eating, and Tasteless, which is a good one about jokes, you should watch. Give it up for my good friend Jeff Cerulli. Jeff Cerulli, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Don't me out.
Oh yeah, that's the cup to have.
Keyshawn Johnson.
Yes,
I'm back in high school here. I have this jersey I had in high school, and I shaved my head, which I used to do in high school.
Oh, so nice.
I feel like we're back here.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. Because we went to how many games we went together? Maybe like 2, 3, maybe.
Did we go to any Jets games together? We went to the 49ers. Oh, and the Pats. And the Pats. We went to the last 3 Jets games.
So we went So we went to 3.
The last 3 are with you. I just had like a brain fart. Yeah, the last 3 Jets games I went to with you. And our can we talk about our have you been to any without me?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the last 3. Here's the weird stat with us. The last 3 Jets games I've been to, the team they played went to the Super Bowl.
That's I remember the Pats.
The Pats in 07, the Spygate year, where they've fucking kicked the shit out of the Jets week 1. Then in 2010, we went to Jets-Packers, which was a pretty bad game.
Oh, that was bad.
Both looked bad that game, and then somehow the Packers, got their shit together and went to the Super Bowl, lost. And no, that was the year they won. Wait, no, they lost that year.
Oh, the Packers?
Yeah, was that the year they won or they lost?
I want to say they won with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, they won.
They won.
They won that year. We would not have.
They got shut out too.
And then a game I did not want to go to because I just felt like they were going to get killed, and they did. The Niners, and that was
that was a nightmare.
The Ravens.
Same year, Santonio Holmes gets injured really bad.
Yeah, and that was the start of Kaepernick. That was the very beginning. They would put him into like these gadget formations and let him run wild, and that was the beginning. And then they lost to the Ravens that year.
Oh, yep. So, so we're going to run down highlight. First of all, I start off the show by talking about The Last Dance, since it's the best thing going on in sports right now, because all we have is memories. We don't have any current, team sports at least. So, I just finished watching it. What did you think about this episode?
It's great. It's been really fun. And, the thing about like doing documentaries, like a big part of it is like what found footage do you have? And this director was very lucky to get basically just this trove of footage from the 98 season that they didn't do anything with. So someone was making a documentary on Jordan's last season. It never comes out. And now, 25 years later, whatever, 20 years later, he gets the footage and they go do a doc on this. And, Jordan's aboard now, I think, because there's so much LeBron is the greatest talk where he's like the kids.
Yeah.
So I think that's why he was inclined to do it now. And so you get this amazing footage. Like I loved when I think it was the the fourth episode I think it was the fourth one that started on the 98 All-Star game at MSG.
Yeah, with Kobe. Yeah, with Kobe. That was great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And then just to have this footage of like them drinking beers back, like behind the, like I want to say backstage, but like
in the locker room.
In the locker room.
Yeah, just having
it's just so valuable. And it's no different than like on a smaller note. I don't know. Did you see the Lenny Cooke documentary?
No, I didn't. I didn't watch that.
It was good, but same idea. Lenny Cooke was the top prospect around the time LeBron was in high school. Someone was doing a documentary on him. He kind of falls apart, doesn't make the NBA. The footage goes nowhere. And then the Safdie brothers, who are obviously very famous now, Uncut Gems, and got footage. They got footage in the world to talk about what Lenny Cooke is now. And then they had all this footage of Lenny Cooke in high school where he's playing Melo. He's playing LeBron. I mean, the stuff like it's priceless to have that. So it's similar to that in a sense. It's just been so fun. It's been so fun to watch. The episodes really pump me up that I just get like so motivated to just like do whatever. Like I can't play basketball now, but like do projects or just do anything. Just give a shit. Just put in as much work as you can and not be lazy about stuff.
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, this one was funny because just Jordan, just everybody talks about what a dick he is. But I mean, you know, in a team sport, that's what he did. You know, tempers flare, and he was ready to show the world. And anything, little thing, triggered Jordan. Like I remember, like, yeah, and I like that too. I remember, I think the '96, he was talking about the finals, and George Karl didn't say hi to him, and it's like, and then he was just motivated for that, and a guy named Bradford Smith. I think I have a card somewhere of him, but like that's the only thing I remember him. Now he's famous.
Yes,
because of this, and he just like and then Jordan, like at the end of the day, he made the story up, so that's a pretty pretty funny one. But yeah, it's all been good stuff. So all right, well, let's get into the.
He didn't get into Hodges. He was notoriously a big dick to Craig Hodges, and they never got into that.
I think Hodges probably didn't want anything to do.
He's like religious now, right, Hodges?
I would say religious, or maybe like very pro black. So he's probably like, you know, because I think Hodges tried.
He was always annoyed at that, which they touched on. The Republicans buy sneakers, but you're right. Hodges was annoyed at that. I think that Jordan has handled everything pretty well. The way he spoke about it, like the way episode 5 ended, where he's like, "Oh, you think I was a tyrant? You never won anything. I wanted these guys to win," and I do believe him there. I think obviously it was for himself, but he just like every team, for it to work, you have the leader, and then you have to have everyone else. You can't have too many.
Yeah, you have to everybody fall in line.
Leader is going on. That's why the first year with the Heat, they did not win it because it was like LeBron and Wade. They had to figure out, oh, you take it, I'll take it, you take it. Like it just Bosh fell in line, but Wade and LeBron didn't work it out till the next year, where Wade was like LeBron's the best player. So with this, Jordan was the best player, so much better than everyone else, and then you need the role players, and that's why the team worked. Paxson hits the shot, which I didn't like when – I mean, Skip Bayless is the fucking biggest hack, but I remember when LeBron drove and then he kicked Danielle Marshall. Do you remember that? And everyone's like, oh, Jordan would never do that. And it's like, yeah, Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
He learned to do that. If your teammate's open that can shoot, that's a good play. Right? Yeah. That was a good play.
No, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That was just I think that was a regular season game, but that kind of stuff where these guys, Kerr hit shots. Pippen, you know, played defense and did the little things. And Grant was really good. And everyone played their role.
Yeah, it was end of the day, they won 6 champions, the most successful team like I ever seen. And like, you know, in any sports to win back. And if Jordan wasn't gone those 2 years, who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Who else was like a big player ego in like 93? Like that was
at the time, I really, you know, it was just Jordan and everybody else. Bird and Magic were out the door.
They already done. I'm talking about someone like, let's say you put Barkley, right? Barkley really
yeah.
Let's say you put Barkley instead of Horace Grant. That doesn't work out as
no, the team doesn't mesh.
No, because Barkley's still at this point, you know, he won the MVP the next year. Oh, his son is like crazy. He won the MVP, and and it doesn't work. It doesn't work as well.
Yeah, so it definitely Yeah, it was. They had the right players at the right time. That's why. Yeah, that's why I enjoyed. Well, I didn't enjoy that team, but I understood why they won.
I love the footage when he's with the Knicks in '93 with X-Men. And
oh yeah,
it's great.
There's a lot of good stuff, man. It's like it's as a Knicks fan. I mean, I got over it after a while. I was like,
the most beloved one-year Knick.
Yeah. McDaniel '92. Yeah, that was a big. Yeah, good player.
How about the stuff Oakley's been saying now? I feel like he's kind of been a little shitty.
Oh yeah, he's been very shitty. I mean, and Ewing took the high road and like, yeah, he's at the end of the day, he's still my friend.
It's but Oakley, what is the point?
I think after him getting kicked out the Dolan game at the Garden when Dolan kicked him out, I think he's now took advantage of his kind of like fame. He's he's asked to do more interviews and probably getting more attention than ever since that incident. He was on Kevin Hart's Cold as Balls.
Yeah, but it's not like Ewing is at the Garden. Is Ewing ever back at the Garden?
No. He's one of those guys.
Talk about guys like Houston, Sprewell, Larry Johnson. They're all back. And in a way, they probably maybe shouldn't, because you shouldn't be doing anything with Dolan if you're a former teammate, because he's such a fucking shit. I could see being angry at those guys. But, the reason they didn't win the title is not because of Ewing. He was great. He was as good as he could.
No, yeah, you can't blame Ewing. That's for damn sure. It's like, you had a guy. You're not beating Jordan. I don't care who you are. End of the day, you're not beating Mike. So that's how it went down. All right, let's get to why we're here. The Jets. We're like I said, we're both suffering Jets fans. So what was your introduction? When and why did you become a Jets fan, and who made you?
No one did. My mom, in my house, my mom's a big sports fan, not my dad. My dad doesn't like sports. My mom's a big Giants fan. And I remember watching the Giants in '86 and kind of like rooting for them. Like I was 6. So it was like,
so it was like, okay, yeah.
When you're a kid, you like everything,
Yeah.
I had a Detroit Pistons back-to-back shirt. Like, you just get stuff and you're like, hey.
Like a kid from Africa. Just look at this shit.
Except you get the winter stuff. That's funny.
Yeah.
You just get stuff. Like you just I had a Duke starter jacket. So it's like I was a Jets fan my whole life. Like there's pictures of me as a little kid with like Jets shirts. But I would say like I got really into football and really into it in like the early 90s. Yeah. So like as far as like '86 Ken O'Brien, I remember it. I remember
like vaguely,
McNeil and Ken O'Brien and Gastineau. I remember I had the figures. Oh, I loved Altoon.
Yeah, starting lineup. I remember.
Yeah, I had the starting lineup figures. Yeah. So I was a fan when I was a kid, but I didn't really get hardcore about it till like probably like '94.
Yeah, when you learned the knowledge. When I was like knowledge of the game.
Yeah, when I was a teenager, because it's like you're getting football and but besides just like the main guys that were Altoon was awesome. If he didn't get hurt, he would have been like a Hall of Fame.
Moore.
He was so good. Yeah, Rob Moore, and then we had Terrence Mathis for a minute. So I started in like around then, and they were bad. And then they had a 1-win season. I remember when I was in high school. And then the thing was, Parcells took over the next year, and then they got respectable.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start like the timeline in 1995. At the time, I guess Rich Kotite was
there, and they were
the former. If you don't know who Kotite is, former Eagles, coach, terrible, just one of the worst coaches.
He was bad with the Eagles. This is like what they're doing now with Adam Gase. Adam Gase was terrible with the Dolphins, and then all of a sudden they're like, "We got to get this guy." This is clearly not going to end well. He is not going to be around in 5 years.
Thing to do. Yeah.
We have to suffer through this for another year or two until they fucking get rid of him.
Yeah. So like, all right, 95. The Jets in the 95 draft, they draft Kyle Brady, and he was like 2 picks under the Buccaneers draft Warren Sapp. So like a lot of fans during that draft were like, they were going
Warren Sapp.
And then
which is obviously the right pick, but he had I think marijuana problems, right?
So they probably they wanted to stay away from that, but Warren Sapp ended up having a Hall of Fame career.
He was fairly terrible. He was fairly terrible. I mean, he was fine, but he he lasted a little while. He went to the Jags and then the Patriots, but like he was, he was nothing that you had to get in the first round right there.
No, absolutely not. But like, yeah, Warren Sapp, like, yeah, he ended up winning a title with the Bucks. Warren Sapp did, and no Kyle Brady. It happens with the Jets. That's usually their luck. So move on. Also, we that year, an undrafted guy by the name of Wayne Chrebet comes aboard. And
that's great.
We didn't. Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll move on. We'll get to him a bunch soon. So the '96 year, they rebuild. They sign Neil O'Donnell after coming off a Super Bowl 30, a horrible performance. Those two interceptions.
That's why we had to have him.
We had to have him. Yeah, and then that same year, '96 draft, we draft the guy's jersey you have on, Keyshawn Johnson.
Yeah.
Which I think I had it. Yeah. Does it have the name on the back?
Yeah.
Okay. Because like I remember finding. Okay, good. Because I remember finding those. I think in Green Acres Mall. Because explain. We're from the same neighborhood, but not the same neighborhood.
You remember Baxter's?
Huh?
On Merrick Road. Do you remember Baxter's on Merrick Road?
Oh yeah, Baxter's. Yep.
I got this at Baxter's. I believe at Baxter's, or maybe not. Maybe at the Sneaker Warehouse, which was also on Merrick Road. One of those two places in early stream. And this was my first Jets jersey.
Yeah. Real quick, let me explain. Like, I'm from Rosedale, Queens. Jeff's from North Woodmere.
It's North Woodmere Valley Stream. Yeah, North.
Yeah,
North
so
Woodmere,
we're nearby neighbors. So
yeah, we're like, so close. We're at the border where my parents still live.
Yeah,
it's right off Hungry Harbor Road and right over there. So I was technically born and raised Nassau, Long Island, but you were Queens. But it's kind of like this line you're watching. It's very.
We're literally like what?
Well, it's like this line on the screen.
It's like a 5-6 minute drive from each other.
But our common meeting grounds were, I would say, Green Acres Mall, because that was
everybody there.
And that was like, it was funny when Chris Rock would do the joke. He'd go, "There's two kinds of malls. The what did he say? He said the white mall and the mall white people used to go to," and that was so true for us, because you had Roosevelt Island. Not Roosevelt Island, Roosevelt Field.
Yeah, everybody, all the white people.
Green Acres was the black mall, which was like people from Queens. I worked in structure at Green Acres Mall. I remember going to the arcade. You remember the arcade at Green Acres Mall? That was a tough arcade where if you would go play Street Fighter, you had to bring it.
Yeah, you put your quarter on the.
Really good. You put your quarter.
That's my quarter.
What was that basketball game? Not NBA Jam. It was before NBA Jam.
My God! It had four controllers. It was run
and gun,
running something like that. It's gonna kill me. I know they didn't have the license. Yeah, NBA didn't have the license for that, so it was just a regular.
No, it was just like New York, Chicago.
Yeah,
it was all
like double dribble.
Dude, that game was awesome. It's probably terrible now if you played it, but that game was.
Yeah. So so that Keyshawn Johnson gets drafted, #1 overall pick. Big deal. It's like the first impactful pick the Jets have in a while. So
#1 pick. He was good. He was good for us. He had a great Jets career until they got rid of him. He was good.
Yeah, he was outlandish. Yeah, he was one of those guys, like very talkative. Because remember, he had the book after his rookie season.
That was
just give me the damn ball.
That was so shitty. You don't do that to your team. It was incredibly shitty. That's the difference between someone like Jordan, who's really good and is the best and works the hardest. Jordan would never fucking write a book called "Give Me the Ball." This is just how it's not done that way. Jordan will fucking talk shit to your face and he'll tell you to get better and get on his level, but he's not going to fucking cry and write a book. But football a little different. Keyshawn needs someone to get him the ball. Jordan has the ball.
So, and your career doesn't last that long, so you want to take advantage of every opportunity that's given to you. So, it's probably PR guys or his agents write this book. It'll be the first rookie to ever,
100%. Keyshawn was very good for what he was, but he wasn't he was the #1 pick overall. So if you're talking about him as a receiver, like now, he's like an Amari Cooper or someone, right? Like he's good, but there's 6 or 7 guys that are better, way better, like Hopkins and Antonio Brown when he played. You could name like 5 or 6 guys that are definitely way better than him.
And in the NFL, nobody's guaranteed to be good. It's not like the NBA. If you pick the #1 guy, they're more likely they'll be good to decent. Whereas we have a lot of busts that were in the first round.
quarterbacks go number one usually, and it's like that position is like a 50-50 hit rate. So there's so many plus.
Yeah. So it happens, and like nobody's guaranteed to be good, especially where you have different systems, and if you flourish under this system,
it all matters.
It's all
matters.
different. Yeah. So
so his basketball too. The guy's going to like Duncan goes to the Spurs, never leaves, as opposed to if he went to like the Clippers, and it all matters.
Yeah, there's times, but I know for the most part, I've seen like there's few busting like that. At least number one picks. You know what I'm saying? You can't count too many. I mean, Kwame Brown is probably
Anthony Bennett.
Those two. But after that, it's like
Bargnani was good for a minute, and then So it's different. If you're talking about bust guys that like never could play, or just like there's few.
Yeah, but the NFL is like it's whatever.
You can have guys number one that just like Wiggins is number one. He was certainly not a great player. So.
Yeah, but he's still in the league, and he's still he's kind of serviceable. You know what I'm saying?
That's the thing. He's fine.
Yeah, Joe Smith was another one. He got drafted high. I mean, at the end of the day, he had a 14-year.
He played a long time. Very uninspired, like 15.
Yeah,
years.
definitely. End up being a role player somewhere. It's one of those things. So all right. So Coach, after Keyshawn's rookie season, Cotites gets fired. He has a 4-28 record for us. And this is when things start getting interesting because Parcells, I remember, expressed interest of being the Jets coaches, or ownership was trying to get Parcells to come to the Jets when New England was there. And they named Belichick was the interim head coach while they trying to get Parcells out of New England. And then they released Parcells out of his contract. Parcells becomes the head coach, and Belichick becomes the defensive coordinator. So were you excited when Parcells came back to New York?
I mean, that guy was a legend, right? He won twice with the Giants, made a Super Bowl with the Patriots, bickering with Robert Kraft. So then it was like to get him was insane. I was like, why does he want to come here? We're like a dump. And then he comes, and immediately, that was the thing with Parcells. It was like, if you get him, you are immediately going to get better. Every place he went, the Giants did nothing before him. They were a storied franchise because they were around from like the 50s or whatever, but they did nothing. And Patriots, nothing. Then they make a Super Bowl with him. And I know they made 185 that they got killed, but still, everywhere he goes, he's immediate credibility. The players listen to him. So you were just so pumped to have him. And then the results were you had a 1-win season to 9 wins. They won 9 wins, and the last game against the Lions mattered. They lost to the Lions, but if they won it, they would have been in. And it was disappointing, but you were like, all right, this is great. They're going to be like going forward, like this kind of young team, and the sky's the limit.
Yeah, it's funny how they got Parcells. They had to actually negotiate it. They gave New England like a bunch of like 4 picks.
Worth it.
And yeah, it's worth it. Like you said, 9 wins. They end up being 9-7. So not a bad actually like things are going up. So
and then going into the next year, the big quarterback, do you remember who it was going into the season?
I was getting to that now. 1998, they released O'Donnell. They signed Vinny Testaverde from Baltimore.
But do you remember who was the starter that year?
That was that not Neil O'Donnell? Was it
no.
Glenn Foley? Was it Foley?
That was the big thing. They got Glenn Foley. You got Keyshawn Johnson. You got Corbett. You're like, this is great. You got Curtis Martin. Was he there Curtis that year? Or did he come the next?
No, he got. Curtis Martin he came there. When Parcells came.
He was the second
O'Donnell. Yeah, no, Vinny and Curtis Martin came the same year, 98.
Yeah, 98, because Curtis Martin, Adrian Morrell was there in 97, who I like.
Yeah, I remember. He made the Pro Bowl, I remember.
Adrian Morrell was like the classic, you have a really good player, but then you're going to replace him by a great player, so the good player's got to go. Because Adrian Morrell was solid.
Yeah.
Right? I think he was.
He went to the Pro Bowl that year, right?
I think he was down here in Russia, and he went to the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals pick up every running back. They got like Emmitt Smith.
Emmitt Smith.
Every running back.
Like, whoever's out the door, like, let's take him.
So it was Glenn. I was excited for Glenn Foley. I was excited for him. I was like, oh, this is like going to be great. And that first game, he was great. They lost to the Niners, but he threw a ton. Niners were really good. They lost in overtime. And it was like, all right. And then eventually, obviously, he gets placed by Vinny, and Vinny has his best season ever.
Yeah. So, that year starts. Yeah, that's a great. The Curtis Martin transaction was pretty good because they signed him to an offer sheet, and New England just declined.
They had Robert Edwards. Was that his name? The guy who hurt the freak accident? Was it Robert Edwards? They had the running back who hurt himself in the Pro Bowl game, the Pro Bowl like beach football game, and he broke his leg so bad to the point that I think they thought he might get amputated, but he just couldn't play again.
Oh,
so they thought they were set. They're like, we're not going to bring Curtis Martin back, which was a great trade for us. And Curtis Martin,
and they gave up. They end up giving New England picks for him. For Curtis
you had to give up stuff for him. Yeah.
So that was another.
Also, one thing you're missing out on too. The year before the Orlando Pace year, we had the number 1 pick, but we traded it, and Peyton Manning.
Peyton was about, and then Peyton didn't want to come here, so that's another.
Didn't want to come here. Didn't know if Parcells was coming. It was a whole thing. So Peyton Manning, I will always kind of hate because every time he was available, it was like Jets fans would get their hopes up, and then he just doesn't come. So we almost got Peyton Manning, and he didn't want to come. So now we're here.
I do remember, Peyton. He was like, no, I'm not going to come.
It was like Andrew Luck when he stayed another year. He could have went to the Panthers, and then he stayed another year, and then he went to the Colts. So stuff is just like everything would have changed.
Yeah, who knows? So so that year they end up going 12-4. They get a first round bye in the playoffs. They beat Jacksonville in the divisional playoffs, and then they moved to Denver. I remember watching that game in Denver, just excited because the Jets really haven't had anything to cheer about in a long time, and and then they lose to Denver. It was, you remember watching that game, the Denver AFC Championship game?
I think this is the moment where if you get two Jets fans talking, it always goes back to this. It gets very sad.
Yeah, it
does. Because most of us, we're around the same age. I was 18 then. So it felt very like, again, we just got Parcells. Now, Vinny wasn't young, but you had a bunch of young talent with an older quarterback. And it just felt like, oh, this is great. This is great. Like, they're going to win it eventually. I remember watching that game downstairs on my couch with my mom, and they were up 10-0. First of all, they finished 12-4. They started the season 0-2. So that means they went 10-2. You take out the last two games. So it was very exciting that they're like, this is it. This is their year. Except the Broncos were like, I think 14-0, 13-0, and the Giants beat them. I remember that. The Giants were big losers, and like, we're going to shock the world. And I was like, oh, congratulations, you won a game. So the Broncos, just like the Jets are up 10-0. You're like,
third quarter. We're like, oh my God, this couldn't happen. But
Falcons just won earlier. So you're like, the Vikings were 15-1. Vikings obviously going to be Vikings Broncos. Now the Falcons win. So you're like, holy shit, this is going to be an underdog Super Bowl. And then they were up 10-0, and then it fell apart.
Yeah.
Elway threw a bomb to Rod Smith, and then that was it. I don't think they scored another point.
No, they didn't score another point. Yeah,
22-10.
23, yep.
Yeah.
So that was it. So all our hopes and dreams.
That was it, man. I think that was the best moment as a Jets fan, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. So maybe 10 years later, but at the time it was a good time. I remember they also had the first year they changed the uniforms. They went back to the retros with to Joe Namath.
It was exciting. There's something about that season. It's the most fun season for me. Probably also, it's no different than like the way people feel about classic rock. Like they like classic rock because it's when they were like a teenager in college. It's like that to me is like my favorite Jets season because I was 18 years old and they made the AFC Championship, and it just seemed like the future was very bright with Parcells.
Even though we had an older quarterback, but it was fun to watch.
And it was not going to be very bright because the first game the next year went to shit.
Yeah. So it was it from them. We move on from 98, 99. Vinny gets hurt in the season opener.
Tom Tupa game.
Yeah. That was it. So that was like,
Tom Tupa threw 2 touchdowns. He punted.
Yeah, because he was the punter for.
That was so great because going into that season, going into that offseason was literally the only time in my life that the Jets were predicted to not only make the Super Bowl, but win the Super Bowl. Everyone had the Jets because they're coming off a big season. The Broncos are now done because Elway retired. So now it was Jets or the Jaguars, but mainly the Jets. The Jets are going to make the Super Bowl, and then week 1, it fucking fell apart. And then they played spoilers. Parcells didn't play Ray Lucas till late. He was playing Rick Meyer. Rick Meyer.
He was high on Ray Lucas.
So he played Ray Lucas. We went 8-8. They started probably like 1-6. They went 8-8. They actually could have made the playoffs, I think, if they won one more game. So that was like, I don't know, man. Then at that point, you're just like, you don't really know what to think. You're just hoping Vinny comes back next year. You're just hoping to be competitive again.
Yeah, but it sucks now. Parcells resigns. Well, he keeps his GM. He stays on his GM, but he's no longer head coach. So, and then they named Belichick coach. For one day, and then he's like, "No, I'm out." New England. Robert Kraft got in his ear. He's like, "Hey, you can take over the world if you want to." And I guess that's the best thing Belichick ever did for himself.
It was almost like payback in a way because we stole Parcells.
Yeah, that's why I look at it
tenfold. And this is what. Let me tell you something. Everyone hates the Patriots. Oh, I hate the Patriots. It becomes like cool to hate the Patriots.
Oh yeah, everybody.
Anyone who hates the Patriots that's not a Jets, Dolphin, or Bills fan, fuck you, because you don't hate the Patriots. You think you hate the Patriots, but unless you get waxed by them twice a year, and they have personal stuff where Brady has dissed your team multiple times and says he does not respect your team, and Belichick left your team where he was head coach for a fucking hour, you have personal beef against the Patriots. I'll always hate them more than anything else. I don't think I could possibly hate another team as much as I hate the Patriots, and I'm hoping that they win 2 games this year. I would have liked to see Tom Brady die in their uniform, like him, like worse.
Yeah, it's going to be weird seeing him. Yeah, and Gronk's over in Tampa too.
Yeah, I think Brady will actually be good this year, and then the next year, that's it.
Yeah, he's not going to set him up. Yeah, he's not going to set him up.
I think he's got one more decent year where it's not going to be great, but it'll be good. And then the year after that, he's done. But that moment was so pivotal when Parcells left and then Belichick didn't want to stay here. He was pissed at Parcells, and we really missed out. We really would have been okay if we had Belichick as coach, obviously.
Yeah, and then
that's a real shame.
Yeah. Then after that, Leon Hess, the owner, dies.
He was not a great owner.
Yeah,
I'm not keeping over his head. He was terrible. But he was a nice man, and he ran it like they said he would run the team like a deli. Like he wasn't running it like a business. And you know what? The owner we have now is fucking abysmal. Both of them are abysmal. People liked Chris Johnson because he said the right things around the kneeling, which he did. He said the players can kneel, and that was the right thing.
Yeah, that was the right thing to do.
Yes. I like him for that, and he's not a Trump supporter like his brother, but he's a terrible owner. It's 2 separate things.
Yeah. Just root for a lot of teams with terrible owners. It sucks. It's really bad.
It matters. It matters so much. There's no coincidence why these teams are bad for so long.
Yeah. So, Leon Hess dies. Woody Johnson ends up buying the team. He's tried to hire Parcells again, but Parcells was like, nah, not going to do it. Then they hire Al Groh, who was the linebacker coach, and then they moved him up. So it's going to be funny because the week before, like when I had McGinnis on to talk Giants, it's just one coach, one quarterback.
Like Jim Fossil and then Tom Coughlin.
Yeah, we got a lot of guys to talk about. So 99 Al Groh.
Anyone between Reeves and Fossil? Did Giants go Reeves Fossil?
Reeves Fossil, yeah.
Or is there someone in between? Like they're just steady. They're just steady. They're a well-run organization for the most part. They're a little spotty now.
One of the few. Yeah. So we got a lot of issues. So that's how Al Groh comes in. Keyshawn that April of 2000 was traded to Tampa. Yeah, he was traded to Tampa Bay. I think we all were because he was like our most popular player.
I thought he was a dick, and I was more Corbett because I thought Corbett, like you're usually going to root for the homegrown guy, right? Like Keyshawn's like
homegrown underdog. Yeah,
Keyshawn's the number 1 pick. He's flashy. He's kind of a dick. He wrote that book, but I loved him because he was good and he was our guy. But Corbett was like, dude, he's a 5'10", like undersized.
Yeah, no, he had nothing going for him. It's like, you're not supposed to make an NFL team.
That's why Corbett was so interesting, because he was so undersized and he was like slow, but he had great hands and he was reliable. So with those two, I took Corbett's side just because Corbett was like the better dude. And
better human
being.
It's
like he got everything handed to him. He's like, number one pick. It's just like where Corbett is just like coming out of nowhere. And, same thing where I liked Coles. I loved Coles because Coles was the guy who got in trouble with the Peter Warwick thing, and he came out of nowhere, and he was like our guy. And then, of course, he left and came back. But
3 times.
Yeah, we had him at the very end again too. But those guys, inherently will always get rooted for, I think, over the big stars, because it's like anyone in basketball. Like, it's like Lynn was so popular.
Lynn Sanity.
He was a G League guy. Yeah, he was like, he came out of nowhere. So those guys are always going to be popular. It's like why the Lakers fan, they have LeBron and Anthony Davis, and they love Caruso. So
Caruso's like, he's about to go to the All-Star game. We're voting him in.
We tried to do it with Ron Baker, but he just wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
I like Ron Baker. It's like, no, he's not.
Yeah, good. He's not. Yeah, let's not put him in the thing. And that 2000 draft was good because we got Chad Pennington, John Abraham.
I could name him. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll tell you in order. First, we got, with our pick, Sean Ellis.
Yeah, Sean Ellis is very good. Yep. Very
good pro for a long time. Mm-hmm. John Abraham, another jersey I had. John Abraham was so good when we had him, and then we got rid of him. He had a lot of like off the field stuff. I think he got drunk at gentlemen's quarters in Baldwin and crashed his car. I think I remember that happening.
That's hilarious. Anybody knows the practice facility, like Jets, like most Jet fans are from like Long Island or Queens, because the practice facility, they practice in Hofstra for so long. So a lot of Jet fans would be from Long Island. I remember running to what's the guy? Hamilton. He was in Hooters.
Hamilton?
Yeah. Remember he went to play for the Pats? Bobby Hamilton.
Oh, Bobby Hamilton. Okay, yeah, you saw him.
He was just eating by himself in that Hooters by Nassau Coliseum or Hofstra. It was just him by himself. And then he saw me with the Keyshawn Johnson jersey on. It was my birthday, and me and like 2 other friends. And the waitress was like, "Hey, you want Bobby to come over?" And we was like, "Oh shit, Bobby Hamilton." And he came over. Yeah, he came over, talked to us. I mean, this was like in around 2000. So no, I have no pics. I didn't have my disposable Polaroid. So that was no proof. But he did come over. Couldn't have been a nicer guy. Big hands, big guy. Ate a whole thing of shrimp by himself.
That reminds me of one time I was at the mall and I was
with the Curtis Martin, right?
Yeah, I was getting a pretzel. I paid for it, and I turn around and literally.
What was this again? The pretzel shop?
It was like Auntie Anne's,
Yeah.
And he was right around, and I'm like, he did not want to talk to me because he didn't want to get like recognized, and like I was like,
Mom.
Dude, I'm a big. He was with his wife or girlfriend. And I was like, hey man, I'm a big fan. And he was like, oh, okay. All right. Okay. And I was like, I just left him alone.
Just get the fuck out of my face.
It's always so crazy to me when I meet an athlete that's like my height. And I'm just like, you're superhuman. You're my height, but you're you're superhuman. He was, but the 4 picks.
He's like, I just want a pretzel.
Yeah, he did. He totally didn't want to get recognized.
Yeah. So it was Ellis. Yeah, Ellis Abraham. And then the 3rd pick, I think Plaxico was on the board, but I think he went one before to the Steelers. So we took Pennington. We took the quarterback. Pennington,
and then we Anthony Becht.
Anthony Becht.
27 or something.
Yeah, so those guys all played key roles in that.
That was an awesome first round because then Pennington
Coles
will always maintain. Coles was 3rd round.
3rd round, yeah. But he was the same draft. So
I'll maintain Pennington would have been really good. If he didn't get hurt, he would have been really good.
Yeah, we've been talking about we've been talking about him for a very long time. But typical Jets stuff. So 2000 was year they had the Monday Night Miracle game. That was big. You remember watching that game? Did you watch it and turn it off? In the middle?
No. I wasn't. First Jets game I ever went to in my life was in Tampa. They were 3-0. They went to play.
That's right. Yeah.
My friend Rory's brother-in-law worked down there, and he would teach golf to a lot of the Bucks. So he was friends with like Rondi and a bunch of the Bucks. So we got tickets. We went down there. It was awesome. It was the first Jets game I was at, and it was in Tampa. They won. It was a game where they were terrible all game. Vinny got benched for a minute, and then Curtis Martin threw the touchdown to win Corbett in the end zone to win it. He threw the halfback pass, and they were 4-0, and it looked great. They're 4-0. Vinny's back. It felt a little bit like a weak 4-0, but nonetheless, they didn't make the playoffs. They ended up finishing 9-7. The Monday Night Miracle was like the 5th or 6th win. And then they got waxed by the Ravens, that beast of a Ravens defense. If they won, they got in the last week, which happens all the time. And the Ravens waxed them. Vinny threw a lot of yards, but it wasn't enough. The Ravens beat the shit out of them, and then that was it. And Al Groh left, and they kind of had to retool the next year.
Yeah, so that was 2000 was like, we got some good players, but like then Al Groh resigns. He takes a job at University of Virginia, so that was good. Parcells is out of GM. Terry Bradway becomes the GM. So and then Herm Edwards gets hired. So did you like the Herm hire? Like Herm was pretty good.
I can't say I liked it at the time. I didn't really know too much. He was coming from Tampa, which was like, okay, good defense. But overall, I would say I liked the Herm Edwards experience because he was fun, right? You play to win the game. Like
play to win the game, yeah.
Fun coach. He was like, technically, I don't think he was very good, like with some of like the game management and like the timeouts. And of course, in the playoffs, he didn't get Doug Bryan close enough in 2004. So I don't think he was the greatest coach, but I think he was okay. And he was kind of fun to have around. So I liked Herm. Sure.
Yeah, it was fun. He stayed here. Yeah, he had a decent run. I mean, at the end of the day,
he quit on the team. He wanted out. And then I remember the next season when he was the Chiefs coach, they killed us in like week 1 or whatever. They just literally beat the shit out of us. And that was a depressing moment as a fan.
Yeah.
They're like, this guy quit on us, and he's kicking the shit out of us with his new team.
Yeah. So Herm Edwards, first year goes 10-6. They lose the wild card game to Oakland in 2002. So I remember that. Then the year after that,
but that was Pennington. Pennington started playing, and they started terrible. They were like 2-5, so they came back.
Yeah. So it started off good, but they end up going to the playoffs. That was good. And first year they 2002 they go 10-6, lose to Oakland in the wild card. That was the year after they went back to play at Oakland and lost in the wild card. Before it was the divisional game, right?
2 years in a row they lost.
2 years ago, I remember playing Oakland.
But they had a
Rich
lot.
Gannon, right?
They had going into 2002. They had a good season. They won the division because of like a fluke. They won the division because of Dave Wanstad, and he was playing the Dolphins Pats, whereas he should have just ran the clock out and he threw, and then the Pats won. And then we got the division because of a tiebreaker. We kicked the shit out of the Packers the last week, and it was exciting. It was really exciting. I was at the Colts game week 1 in the playoffs where they killed the Colts.
You went to, so that was like your first home playoff game?
That was my birthday. It was really exciting.
Oh, wow.
I'll never go to a better game in my life. They won like 41-0. You could just feel it from the start. You felt like it.
I remember that. Yeah, that was
killed them.
It was an ass whooping.
And then there was hype. There was a lot of hype going into that Raiders game that they were actually going to win it, and they didn't even come close.
Yeah. It was an ass whooping.
Raiders were way better.
Yeah, that team went to the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay, right?
Yeah, they lost because of the Gruden thing. Whatever, but those Raiders teams were really good.
Yeah. So 2004 they go 10-6. They lose to Pittsburgh in the
fun year. They started 5-0.
5-0. I remember. It's the same year the Giants.
What's that?
I think the same year the Giants had a good record too, right? Or that was
I don't know. They usually don't at the same time. But that season was pretty fun. Whereas they make the playoffs, they beat the Chargers, and then that was like a
Pittsburgh
fun team. And then of course, what I just mentioned before, Doug Bryan
misses those.
He didn't get him close enough in overtime. He just missed a field goal in regulation. I remember 2 things out of that game more than anything. I remember Santana Moss had a big drop on 3rd down that would have
Yeah.
kept the drive going. That was
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yep.
and Herm didn't get him close enough in overtime where they would have won. They would not have beat the Pats. There's no fucking
No,
way.
they're not beating the Pats. Yeah.
But you know, it would have been fun to like.
Yeah, it would have been a fight at the end of the day. You know.
Yeah, that was
Pennington.
disappointing. That was a good, but you have to chalk that up as a good season. You know.
Yeah. So
And then it's dark for a little while.
Huh?
Then it's dark for a little while after.
Oh yeah, dark for like wow. Yeah.
You're talking about Kevin Barlow, like you're talking about some real crap teams.
Yeah. So 2005, they go year after that they go 4-12.
Is that the Kevin Barlow year? I remember he was our lead back, and it was really depressing.
I want to say it was really bad because Fiedler was there as a backup, and Chad got hurt, and then Brooks Bollinger started.
Who is the guy? Oh, Kellen Clemens. Remember when Kellen Clemens? I remember Mangini, who I was so sick of after a point where like older Chad Pennington and Kellen Clemens, and it was like, ooh, Mangini's not naming the starter. A little gamesmanship. It's like, dude, they both are terrible at this point. This is fucking. You're not Bill Belichick here. I was
because that's what people expected. Like I'm gonna 2005, like I said, 4-12. Vinny comes back too that year.
Terrible. So bad these years.
Herm resides. He goes to Kansas City, like you said, with the Chiefs situation.
The only good thing was them retooling the line. That draft, they got Brickashaw and Mangle. That was the only.
That's the best. Yeah, because they've been Jets. They held that line down for a long time.
Yeah, that was great. That was a great draft. They got 2 offensive linemen that played for like 10 years. It's great.
10 years.
They're both Pro Bowls. They're both excellent.
Yeah, Brickashaw is like a hero because he's from Long Island, so it's like
Freeport.
Yeah, Freeport. They got an avenue named after.
They got a statue. They got a Brickashaw statue.
Yeah, that's a big deal. So like Mangini comes his first year, he goes 10-6. So like you're like hyped up. It's like, oh, we got another guy from that New England playoff tree. I mean,
remember his nickname?
Mangenius. Yeah,
we got the Mangenius. He had the cameo on The Sopranos, and it was like, oh, this is gonna be like he's the new young.
Yeah, he's high, man.
He's fucking sucked. He sucked with the Browns. I don't care. They got whacked by the Patriots in the playoffs. I wasn't a huge fan of his.
Yeah, he did his traveling around. Like 2006, the only winning year, 10-6. 2007, 4-12, real bad. But Jarrell Revis gets drafted around at 2006. So that's one of our.
Jarrell Revis. Okay, when have the Jets had the best player at a position? I think it's only Revis. They had the best cornerback. They've never had the best player because like Curtis Martin was really good, but there was Marshall Faulk. There were 6 other running backs.
He was like top. He was always top 3, top 5.
But the best position player, Revis is like one of the only ones. That you could say at a time.
Remember, it was the debate between him and Nandi Asamoah.
He's better than Richard Sherman. I know they fight now. But for those 3 or 4 years, he was like a true like lockdown, one of the best players.
Yeah, wouldn't throw it to. Yeah, you wouldn't throw it
to the best player. The first Rex year, it was amazing what he would do. He would shut down all these big receivers. Literally, only Stevie Johnson played well against him. Stevie Johnson would play well. He had good games. Everyone else.
I remember that game. I think he would make Chad Johnson right.
High.
Yeah, everybody else couldn't do it. Well, 2008, Mangini goes 9-7. He gets fired. Then Rex Ryan is hired.
But you're leaving out a big thing.
What?
Favre.
I didn't get to Favre yet. This is 2007. I'm getting the offs like Mangini gets fired. Oh wait, I did. 2008. Yeah, the Brett Favre signing. My bad.
Yeah, Mangini
that's a big deal. Yeah,
my
bad. I did write that down. But the Brett Favre signed. Big deal.
Were you in on it? You had to be.
Huh?
That was my last Jets jersey I ever bought.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, I was definitely in on the Brett Favre side. Not only that, remember when Madden came out that year and Brett Favre was on the cover?
They had to give the you could like print out, right?
You can print out. Yeah, you had to go old school to your printer.
I loved it. I
did that. I couldn't. That was the thing I did.
What's that?
That was the thing I definitely did.
I went to Ellis and I got the jersey. And here's the thing. People look back on the Favre thing like it was a blunder, but it really wasn't. He got hurt. He was good.
He got hurt. Yeah, he was. They went 9-7. Yeah.
They were 10-3. They were
10-3 in the beginning. Yep.
They beat the Pats on Thursday night. Now, it was not with Tom Brady, but still. Were you over that night? I had people over.
Oh, man.
Nog and Brian. You might have been there. Adam Glenn. And then if you didn't come, it's not because you weren't.
What? I can't remember.
Well, you were invited. I definitely would have invited you.
Yeah, I know you. I was invited.
Then next week, they beat the 10-0 Titans, right? They beat the 10-0 Titans, and all of a sudden it was like, holy shit, they're 8-3. I think I might have said they were 10-3. They were not. They were 8-3. And you're like, this is it. This is their year. This is going to be their year. Brett Favre, we finally got a quarterback. And then, of course, in true Jets fashion, who do we lose to? We lose to Pennington and the Dolphins.
Yep. I remember, yep.
But it was done at that point. He was hurt because he got hurt, and it was his shoulder or his bicep. I think he fucked up his shoulder, and we only won one more game against the Bills. But if he doesn't get hurt, they're 8-3. They presumably lose maybe one more game. So now all of a sudden, you would have had the 1 seed. Who won it that year? The Steelers?
I think so.
Was that Steelers Cardinals Super Bowl? I think it was.
I want to say it was. Yeah,
we're good, but they weren't like a powerhouse. So like that year could have been our year. I felt confident. Like when they were 8-3, I was like, and then also the Patriots weren't going to do it that year. It was like,
yeah,
this is it, man. This is it. So it's like
this is the time. Yeah,
that one sucked.
Yeah, so
I don't remember the teams. I just remember them beating the Bills and losing to the Dolphins. But those last 5 games were abysmal. Yeah,
they just the bottom fell under, and that was it. So 2008 season. Yeah.
Oh no, I remember one. They had a game against the Seahawks with who was the quarterback of the Seahawks? He had a funny
Hasselbeck?
name. No, it wasn't Hasselbeck. It was fucking somebody that was he was like a career backup, and it was just going in. You knew they were gonna fucking lose, and they lost. You got to look up his name. He was the Seahawks quarterback. He was a light skinned guy. What was his name? He was like a career backup, and he beat us, and it was like no question they were gonna win that game.
Oh man, I can't. Yeah, I'm trying to look it up right now, but I can't. Yeah.
Was it Spurgeon win? I'm gonna look it up. Keep going. Spurgeon win or something.
Yeah. What I also left out, going back, I guess 10 years to the Vinny game. Remember the game? I went to that game. Remember when they played the Seahawks in '98 and Vinny ran into the touchdown that wasn't, which I forgot.
It changed instant replay.
Yeah, that was the game that changed instant replay. Because I remember sitting in the visitor section and I was harassed by Seahawks fans.
It's brutal.
Yeah, it was brutal. But we came back. That was one of the best days I ever had. I remember losing my voice.
Seneca Wallace.
Wow. The apple juice. Mr. Apple Juice.
No question who's going to beat us. We lost 13-3 to the Seahawks, who were 4-11. Oh, my God. That was so brutal. That was so brutal. That was
Seneca Wallace, the apple juice guy. That's what I think of when I think
Seneca Wallace. And it was like, there was no doubt in my mind they were going to lose that game. It was just Favre, his arm was off.
Yeah, lost 4 out of 5 that year.
That Cardinals game where he threw all over the field, where Bolden got hurt, that was really exciting. Where it just he was lighting it up. He had 5 touchdowns. It was just Favre was awesome when it worked. And then the next year with the Vikings, he was good. So it was
yeah,
it just didn't work out. But
it didn't. Yeah, but I mean that one year, hey, I mean, whatever. Anyway, Rex Ryan is hired in that offseason, and after being the defensive coach in Baltimore, and we were all hyped with that because Rex, he was one of those guys. Yeah, you loved him. He was a crazy guy. Huh?
I miss Rex.
Yeah, Rex was fun, man. Rex dominated headlines on the back page. He was just a wild dude, and he was the type. It made the Jets
I'm not. We need it. We need it. So used to losing to the Patriots, getting our ass kicked. What's that?
No, you broke up a little.
No, I'm saying we were so used to getting our ass kicked by the Patriots that for someone to come in and go, I'm not going to kiss Belichick's rings. It was awesome. He was awesome, and they needed that, and the players loved. And
the whole team they followed their lead. So they also
fucked up. It wasn't his fault why it didn't work out. The cap got fucked up. Tannenbaum fucked up the cap. So after a while, when the team rolled, when you had Sanchez with a bunch of with good running backs and some receivers and the defense.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez, got drafted that same year.
You could win. You could win with that team. But the problem was when Sanchez lost weapons, then they bring Tebow in, and it became a fucking mess.
They don't
know how to run a team.
It was really bad.
they could have won. Like they made 2 AFC championships. Like
yeah.
One was
which I'm gonna get to now. Yeah, like
Sure.
Mark Sanchez gets drafted. I was excited for Mark Sanchez coming in because I mean you heard about him in USC. You saw, you heard good things, and I'm like, okay. And then it's like, all right, we got the quarterback we kind of wanted at the time, or what we thought at the time. So
I mean, it was him and Matthew Stafford went first, and then Josh Freeman went later. But he wasn't ever great. But he won road playoff games, and he was serviceable. People
very serviceable. He wasn't great. His stats tell different.
His stats were terrible, and he was not great. He was never going to be great. But you could.
In a situation when you have a great offensive line and you have these weapons,
there's worse guys that won Super Bowls. Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. Brad Johnson won a Super Bowl. It's a little different now, where you need the guy who can sling it. You need. I think. In a few years and where it's going, you have to have a mobile quarterback. You have to have a Mahomes. You have to have someone that extends plays. That's the way it's going.
You can barely touch these guys now.
But this is 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, where it was okay, get the game manager and build up your defense and running game, and you could you could do some shit. So that was the quintessential build up the defense. We were really strong in the back. We had a great secondary.
Yeah, we had a lot.
You had a great secondary. Chris Jenkins was always hurt, but he was great when he was in there. Yeah. You had this great defense with good running backs. You had Sean Green and Thomas Jones first, and then great second year. LT, I loved. One of my favorites. Loved the signing. Shit on it. I loved it. I said he's going to come in. He's going to catch balls.
Yeah, he's going to be third down back. You put him in. Yeah, put him in the
so good for us that second year. But the first one with Thomas Jones, who I love too.
Oh yeah.
And you had a great line, Mangle, Brickashaw, you just it worked. They started slow, but they got it together, and it was it worked. The team worked. They were good, and they lost that first year to they beat the Bengals. Oh, they lost to the Colts. They beat the Bengals, the Chargers, and then they lost to the Colts, and that was a tough game. The Colts were really good.
Yeah, that was good. It beat the Bengals 24-14.
We also don't get in. If the Colts don't pull Manning, we don't get in.
Oh yeah, definitely not. No. So
Curtis Painter.
I remember that. Yep. Yeah. So that was 2009 was a fun season, and you think in the offseason, I'm oh man, 2010 is going to be good, and which it did turn out back to back championship games. So 2009 they were 9-7. 2010 they finished 11-5.
11. They started better. The difference was 2009 they didn't start well. They started slow. Where 2010 they were pretty good the whole year.
Yeah, 2010 was a weird because bringing back when you talked about Brett Favre, another scandal comes out on Brett Favre, the Jen Sturger, harassment. You remember that?
Didn't that come out before?
Well, it happened in 2008 when she was when they both were she was a reporter for the Jets.
Sexting with her.
But the whole scandal, the stuff came out in 2010 that it happened.
He was sexting with her, and it was inappropriate, and
Yeah. And October 11th, Brett Favre returns as a Viking.
I don't remember what happened.
What?
That game. What happened?
Oh, but do you remember when the ticket scandal?
Yeah. The J-Nog. We got fake tickets.
Nay Jog. I won't reveal it.
J-Nog sold us fake tickets, and we went to the game, and they disintegrated. And the security guard was like, "This doesn't work." Yeah, it was the fourth game.
The funniest thing.
We won that game.
Yeah, I tried to get Jay. Jay hit me up, so Jay's listening, or he might not. He might have tuned out already, But Nay Jog, I would like to refer him as Nay Jog. I remember it's I got tickets. I was like, oh, okay. Remember getting the tickets. And remember we were on the train and we're feeling the tickets. We're feeling the tickets and the lettering starts to rub out.
Yeah. It didn't feel good. We had a bad.
It didn't feel good. Yeah. I remember I was out of the loop for. I remember Najog said, "Oh man, yeah, I got somebody going," and then he called me again. Hey, you still want to go? I'm like, yeah, I want to go. It's going to be fun.
How much did we pay? Do you remember? That's the only time this ever happened.
I remember it was like $125.
First outside MSG and never had a problem. Yeah, Nog is the only time I got fake tickets.
Yeah.
What did we pay? Like $3?
$125. I remember.
We paid $125.
Yeah, 125. I paid 125. I remember that.
I paid what you paid. So we were excited. Oh, it was the first game Santonio Holmes was going to be back. We were excited Monday Night Football. And then, yeah, man, he fucking sold his.
We get to the front and the tickets don't stay. Like, I knew it was coming. I knew the worst was yet to come. Like, all right, let's see if this ticket's happening. Yeah, and then
and he was nice. He was like, because it probably happens all the time. He's like, I'm sorry, these aren't real tickets.
Yeah.
And then we call Nog, and Nog is the same thing. He's out the gate with his friends. And he's like, well, I bought fake tickets too. It's like, yeah, but you sold the fake tickets. We never got our money back because how could we? Because, you know, it's not like we had insurance on the tickets. He got fucked too.
Yeah, so everybody did.
That's scam.
Yeah, I remember coming back home and he was like, you want to watch the game? And then I was like, oh, I'll just go home and watch it. And they ended up winning that game. I remember, and that game was delayed.
There was a delay.
Because of the weather, like lightning. There was lightning, and it was like, all right, we gotta delay this. But that was
that's the thing. Like, the Jets were so important to me at that point in my life. Like, they're not as important now because I'm just older and they're so bad that I'm just like, I can't deal with this. But at that point, I'm all in. I'm fucking ready. I'm ready for a Super Bowl. I want to go to the game. It's exciting. You're right. Brett Favre came back, and that was Randy Moss too, right?
Yeah, Randy Moss. Yep.
Randy Moss is back home. He had like a game with the Vikings again. I think we played him 2 weeks in a row because we played New England and then we played him the Vikings. I think that was the weird stat. He was like the only player to play a team.
Play back to back. Yeah. That was a weird one. Yeah.
But the fake tickets were unbelievable.
I can laugh at it now. I don't remember. I was upset.
Pissed. No, we were really pissed.
Money, but
I didn't talk to him for a little while after that. I was pissed. Like,
yeah, but we can all laugh about it now. That's why I wish I could get Jay. But
yeah, I would laugh about it.
Is very busy.
He's got so many Zooms.
Yeah,
but at the time, we were both really pissed, and I was mad at him. But it also was like, it's partly our fault because, you know, it's like, where is he getting the tickets? Off Craigslist. So, you know, that's fucking risky to get tickets off Craigslist. So, you know, it's not like, what can you do?
We can laugh about it now.
Yeah. But that was, you're right.
It's a funny story.
It's funny when you said the Vikings game. I'm like, I don't remember that game at all. It's like, oh yeah, I remember that more than any other.
Remember the situation.
I remember being on the train home. But it was also like this. I remember we saw him in the parking lot with his two friends, and I was like, what the fuck is fake? And he's like, yeah, I know. And then I think I tried to get my money back. He was trying to give them to someone else, and I was like, yeah,
he was like, it was one of those things. It's like, you're not thinking straight. Yeah.
Take your fucking loss. Don't fucking some kids that are like selling it to them that they're going to spend all their money on this. And then taking the train home, I remember being just so pissed.
Yeah.
I think we got knocked.
Well, we got home. I think the silver lining was the weather delay. So I got home just in time to watch it.
Yeah. Too. I was living in the city at the time. I got home and I think I got home at halftime. So I watched.
Wow. Now I got home, like, if I remember, just in time or just like.
Oh, really? Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe it was just in time.
Yeah, it was like just in time.
I remember just going home Monday night and watching it at home. And then at the end of the day, I was happy they won.
Yeah, at the end of the day, the winning healed everything. So, they jog.
I fucking hate going there. I stopped going, dude. That 49ers game, I think you asked me a few times.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. That was a bad one.
The last 3 times I went, they got blown out. The fake ticket game. I'm just like, I'm good not going for a long time. But I went a lot in my 20s. But I will say, I bring this up all the time to pivot to the Knicks for a second. The most fun I had going to games was with you to MSG.
Yeah, Knicks games are fun. Yeah.
We would get $10 tickets.
Yeah.
Right? We would get what you can't do anymore. We would get $10 tickets all the way up in the rafters before the season. We would get like, okay, I want to see Kobe. I want to see Ray Allen. I want to see Durant. Yeah. And then you could just go sit wherever. So for $10, you're seeing, Allen Iverson, and it was fucking awesome.
Close.
And I miss that.
Those were fun times. Yeah, just getting downstairs. That was
you and Brian, and we got Brian into it. And when could you stop getting the $10 seats? Like 2007, 8, 9?
Oh man, I want to say like every NBA, like the NBA was mandated to have $10 seats.
Yeah,
for like the top like sections, and after a while, especially Knicks, because I think it got out of hand when StubHub or when these third-party tickets brokers got involved, because now you could buy a $10 ticket and easily flip it for triple the price, especially Knicks games, because people,
No
tourists
question.
come out of town and they want to see whoever.
No question. When I look back on going to sporting events, that's my favorite thing of just getting those cheap tickets and just seeing whoever. I remember meeting you. I would get like 20 on my own, and you would get like 20 on your own, and we would trade. We'd be like, all right, I got Pacers, Mavs, Cat. Like, what do you want?
Yeah, we mapped it out. Yeah, it was dope, man. That was fun times.
Great times.
Yeah, but 2010. That was a fun, and then it goes to shit after that because they haven't made the playoffs since. So
yeah, that's
the Jets.
I had a moment where I was wearing a Jets hoodie and I'm waiting for the subway, and then it's right around the time they fired Rex, and this guy goes up to me and he's like, "Thank God we got rid of him." And I was like, "Why?" I understand if you don't like him, but he's literally the best coach they've had since Parcells. This might, they might suck for a while. And then he kind of was like, "Oh, okay." It's like, I get it. He's probably just like an older fucking white dude who didn't like his shit. But it was like, that was it, man. I mean, what's his face? Todd Bowles was like a nice guy, but he was definitely a pumped up coordinator. He was definitely like,
that's all it was, man.
Nice guy. The players played hard for him. I really liked him personally, but he wasn't a great coach. I think you got to be a dick to be a coach. You got to
really talk. Yeah. All these Rex Ryan, like you said, everybody remember Bart Scott did that wrestling promo.
Rex. Like, the thing is, the players loved Bowles, so it's not fair to say that, but it's just like he just like, dude, how many fucking penalties did they get all the time, and it just like never changed. So it's been dark for a while. It's been dark.
2007, like I said, 2011. 2011, they go 8-8. 2012, 6-10. They got Tebow. Remember the Tebow?
Terrible. 11,
terrible.
The 8-8 year was okay, and then the Tebow thing was a fucking disaster. They were again because now all of a sudden it's one thing when you're winning, when Rex is winning, and he can be all like rah rah. When you're not winning, it doesn't work. So they weren't winning anymore. They were over the cap, and now you have like this Tebow thing, which was so fucking stupid because they wouldn't even play him. I think he handled it pretty well. Like, I think he was a good sport about it. And the guys were like dicks to him where they're like, he sucks. And it was like, he's not even fucking playing. You guys, he handled it well. It's just like, that was so stupid to bring him in. Unless you're going to play him.
No, he didn't play it. They were trying to do a wildcat offense thing with Sanchez and Tebow. Yeah, it didn't work.
Stupid.
Yeah, that was the dumbest thing ever.
They're so fucking poorly run. And also to the point where like I loved it when like everyone stopped using the Wildcat, and then they're like
Wildcat was like successful for a year?
It was successful for a year when like the Dolphins did it, and then some teams would do like special Wildcat formations. And then like literally 4 years later, the Jets are like, we're going Wildcat heavy this year. It's like, why? Nobody does it. This is like with the fucking Knicks trying to do the triangle offense. It's like, you can't just implement an offense because you want to. Like, it's like it changes. And that was such a fucking stupid thing that they were forcing that. That was like the last Rex year, like 2012.
And that was the butt fumble year too.
So embarrassing. It was just like, that's the thing where, again, you hate the Pats. Oh, do you hate the Pats? Do you hate them? Because like in 2010, that was probably, I would say, if you want to go saddest moment of being a fan of this fucking garbage franchise, I would say 2010 was probably the saddest because you beat the Pats, which is like insane.
You beat the Pats. Yeah, you beat your rival.
Your biggest rival, the most hated team in sports, and their biggest rival. They somehow beat them with Mark Sanchez on the road. So you're thinking, holy shit, this is the year. They're going to the Super Bowl. This is fucking.
Braylon Edwards came on late that year too.
They had two good receivers. They had Braylon and Santonio. It was a good pairing. And then they fucking. It sucks. It sucks. And this is why I always hate Steelers too. The teams I hate the most are the Pats, Steelers, Ravens. And I used to hate the Raiders because of 2001 and 2, but I don't anymore because they've been so bad. But it was just like, it was so just like, I remember that moment. I was watching with you we were watching at Brian's.
Oh yeah.
You were a vegetarian. You were a vegetarian at that point, right?
Yeah. I go back and forth.
You had your vet. I remember you had like a
vegan chicken sticks. Yeah, I did.
Stuff. And
I do remember.
I came to Brian's house in gym shorts. And I changed it to gym shorts. I wanted to be comfortable. And I had beers. And it was just like, that's it, man. They never even gotten close since then. So that's the thing. That was 2010. And it was so disheartening where it was like, that's it, man. They were so fucking close. They finally beat the Patriots, and it just didn't happen. It's just not going to happen. And that's where you get to the point now when you're older and you just start to think you're like,
your energy doesn't go into
I don't feel fucking when they do like the Cubs one and everyone gets happy and they're like, oh, this is such a great story. I don't give a fucking shit if any of these poor franchises finally get over the hump because the Knicks and the Jets have never won in our lifetimes.
Yeah, so and they probably won't. That's the sad one.
Being happy for the Cubs is like for people whose teams have won. Where you're like, this is great. I'm a Spurs fan. This is great. Good for the Cubs. Oh, I'm a Pats fan. Let's give one to the Cubs. But when your team never wins, you don't give a shit.
You're like, screw them. Yeah.
I think they may never win in our lifetime, the Jets. Because it's like right now, when you have people like Mahomes and just like teams that are it's just tough.
When you have a good quarterback and a good system, and you have those teams who have that one good quarterback and they work around it. You have teams that just go through the shuffle.
The Jets are definitely better than they were, but you're talking about like the Ravens and the fucking Chiefs and like the Cowboys are good. There's so many better teams now.
Yeah.
The Saints are still good. It's just like it's tough to like they have a lot to overcome. And I think the Bills are better than them.
Yeah, it sucks, man. So like 2013, they hired Idzik from Seattle, and Geno Smith was their draft pick.
Look at his drafts. They're just so abysmal.
Geno Smith.
So Idzik was bad, and then McCagnon was 10 times worse.
Because they signed Michael Vick after that 2014. They bring
pointless
Michael Vick. Ryan and Idzik gets fired in 2014.
The Vick thing was so pointless.
Yeah,
he was.
Remember Smith got punched in the face for owing what's the name? Money. IK.
Impinelli, what was his name? Yeah. I wonder if there's a scenario where Geno Smith was ever good, right? Like, let's say he doesn't get pushed because that team that year was pretty, like, they were pretty good. Like, they had a lot
I like Geno. I mean, I like the potential of Geno.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I think, all right, let me think about this. I think you had Marshall and Decker that year, right? You had two really good receivers. They were both really solid.
Brandon Marshall, Eric Decker. Yeah, that was good.
Marshall,
And then Fitz comes along.
Yeah, Marshall was really good, and Decker was a great route runner. So you have two really good receivers right there. And I wonder if Geno Smith could have done if he's ever going to do anything, it would have had to have been that year because he's obviously more mobile than Fitzpatrick. So I wonder if he actually because the reports out of training camp were like he's playing well. This is like you're going to see the last game against the Dolphins the year before he had a perfect quarterback rating, which I don't even entirely get quarterback ratings.
Yeah, I know. I never got that at all.
He had a perfect one, so it's probably not a great rating system if Geno Smith had a perfect one. I wonder. I don't know, probably not, but I wonder if he got that year, if he got that one good year in his belt to like build under it. Like that was his only window. That was it. Once he got punched that year and it's done for him. But I wonder if that timeline, because Fitzpatrick isn't like a great quarterback, but he's
been a journeyman. He's always been on a team. Yeah,
he set the Jets. This is how disgusting the franchise is. That Ryan Fitzpatrick has the record for like yards and touchdowns because like
he broke Vinny Testaverde's record. Yep,
he was playing with good people. Yeah, and he beat it by a lot. So I think he beat it by like 12 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, and then remember that next year he holds out.
We needed him. That was the thing where it was like it was one of those things when he held out where it was like, okay, he's not great, but if you don't get him, If you don't get him, you're gonna have a terrible season. If you get him,
you're gonna go way back. Yeah,
you're still probably not gonna have a great year, but it at least could be good.
Yeah. So that was end of the day. 2016 they go 2016, 2017 they go 5-11. 2018 4-12, and then
that year. Wait, that year you're talking about, they almost made the playoffs. What's depressing about that?
With the 8-8, with the Geno 8-8, yeah.
No,
that Bills game, right?
Oh, you're not even up to that yet. You're on the Geno.
No, I'm not. No, the Fitzpatrick. No, we could talk about that. Yeah, because that was.
Well, I was gonna say, if they went, what did they went 10-6 and they missed the playoffs?
I remember they lost to Buffalo twice, right? They lost to
Buffalo.
One game was like a Thursday night because I remember going to a
Thursday night game was terrible. Should have won that, and then the last week could have won either way. That's kind of where Ryan Fitzpatrick was bad the last week. But if they beat the Bills,
they're in.
seed. No, not just in. If they beat the Bills both times, they would have been the 1 seed over the Broncos.
God.
That's so depressing. That's so fucking depressing. But that was overall a good year.
That's what Sammy Watkins was killing them, right?
Yeah, they just like that. They just like, I don't know, man. They beat the Cowboys on a Saturday night game. Like, that was a fun year because of Fitzmagic. That was fun. Yeah. They didn't make the playoffs, but it was a fun year.
Yeah, and you saw like, all right, this Fitz could probably work out, but so yeah.
He's fun. I mean, overall, he's fun. That team was fun. Who was the running back? We had who's the running back that year?
Oh man. Oh. It escapes my mind.
I remember the dumbest shit, and I can't remember who the running back was that year. So you had Marshall and Decker. That was like,
yeah, that combination of Marshall and Decker. I'm just
that was a fun team, man.
Yeah, that was a really fun team. I'm trying to remember who was the QB like that. And if anybody can hop on, because I'm like looking, but it was a good team.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking. I didn't go that far, but was Revis back or Revis wasn't back, right?
He came back after that. He was terrible when he came back.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
he should have not brought him back.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was a good name to have, but yeah, we're both looking. Was that not Bilal Powell, right?
Oh, Ivory.
Huh?
Ivory.
Oh yeah, Ivory, and Ivory was good. He was with the Saints. I remember. Chris Ivory was good with us.
Chris Ivory was really good.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
we had Chris Johnson for a minute too, who wasn't very.
Yeah,
good.
I remember that. Yeah, he was big. I was big on that too.
When you're running back, Cliff.
Yeah, you have what 4 or 5 good seasons, and then you're done. Yeah. So
yeah.
So 2018, that draft is good. We got Sam Darnold. So. Or quarterback of the now future.
Well, how do you feel about Darnold?
Darnold, when I saw a guy went to the draft party, when I saw it, like, yeah, that's the guy we want. That's QB of the future, and he starts off pretty good. I mean, it's not bad. I think last year where we won, like Bowles is out, Adam Gase comes in, and everybody hates Gase.
Everyone hate Gase.
Everybody. I remember Larry David was on the Michael Kay show talking about he hates Gase too.
Who was?
Larry David.
Oh yeah. He sucks, man. He's
everybody.
What kills me is he's just clearly not the guy, and like we all know it, and we have to have him for another 2 years. I like Darnold. I think he has so much potential. It was the right pick, as you said, and I think he shows the goods. He turns it over a little too much still, but I think year one. He turned it over both ways. He threw a lot of interceptions.
Yeah, and you learn it. Yeah.
And also on the ground. Like he's holding it like a loaf of bread. He's getting sacked. And I think in year 2, the turnovers were just interceptions.
What started was the mono.
Yeah, I feel like he fixed his ball security on the sacks and the runs. So I feel like he's not fumbling that way. But you see things out of him like that, like the Texans game and the Dolphins game from 2 years ago, maybe not the Dolphins game. I remember.
And don't forget the mono situation, like in the beginning.
The Texans and the Packers game, he was really good. And then last year, he had like some bad games, but he had some really good games that you're just saying he's a young quarterback that, like, I see it. I think Jets fans can be hopeful with him.
Now, imagine without if the mono situation didn't happen. With him.
Yeah, it's tough with the line. The line was so bad last year.
The line was so bad. Everybody was bad. Like they had Wayne Simeon, who haven't played in like 2 seasons, right? It was like,
yeah, it's just
that's really bad. And then Falk, remember David Falk? Yeah, it's bad. I mean, so you're not winning. You're getting pounded those games. But when he comes back, you see the potential there.
Yeah, I think that. I think the potential's there. I think the first year,
you go 7-9. It was like, at the end of the day, it was kind of like, all right, not a bad season. I mean, 7-9, but I mean, if Darnold's not out, who knows? No,
I like him, man. I think the line is so shitty, and the head coach sucks. They can't figure out. They get Le'Veon Bell, who's still good.
Bell's still good. Yeah, and that was a weird situation too.
They can't figure out how to use him. That Case like is being stubborn and doesn't fucking want him, and like
CJ Mosley too. That's
That was that's the thing, man. Week 1, they started strong. CJ Mosley looks like defensive player of the year.
That's the year they played the Bengals, right? And then they lose.
Well, they lost
a close game.
They lost to the Bills week 1.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the schedule. I'll tell you, if I'm being honest, with these Darnold games when he came back, he was great against the Cowboys. That's when he first came back, and you're like, all right, we got our fucking guy. And you should be excited because the Jets haven't had a young, exciting quarterback in forever. Even Sanchez, as good as he was never this dude can be so much better than Sanchez, right? His ceiling is so much higher. Whether he reaches that or not is a different story, but his ceiling is so much higher than Sanchez. But then the problem is he had some bad games. So you're like, fuck. But then he was steady against the Giants. He was pretty good against the Redskins. I think he was good against the Raiders. The Bengals, he was bad. Like, they're just like, it's a mixed bag. The Steelers, he was bad. The Bills, like, he's had some bad games still. So, but he's also had some good games. So, you got to see this year, they fixed up the line a bit.
I like the draft. I like the draft pick.
This kid Mims seemed good. This receiver they took in the second round.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I saw. Yeah,
he looks awesome. You watch his highlights; he looks fucking fantastic. So if you have, and also I like the guy they got from the Bucks. I think that's a good, like, kind of like the way I like what's his face, the Crowder. I think Crowder's good for what he is. Like Crowder's a great slot receiver. So I think this guy Perriman they got from the Bucks is like the similar idea. So if this Mims guy can stretch the top, like, you got some weapons. The line's going to be better. So. I think the schedule is fucking hard again, but if they win 8 games and he plays well, it's a good season.
Yeah, even though you get tired of like, all right, 8-8, all right, it's going up, but then like, you got to get over that hump.
It's all you could do.
I guess the only benefit, maybe I don't even know if it's a benefit, but Brady leaving the Patriots, I don't know. They'll probably be good again because they figure a way.
You know what I'm going to look at? I'm going to look how the Panthers do. You know why?
Because they play Brady, right? Well,
no, because of Matt Rue. That was a guy that the Jets.
Oh yeah.
Last year, the Jets could have hired. He's a really inventive college offensive coach, and they didn't. He was going to take the job. He wanted to take the Jets job. I think he's from New York, and they didn't take it because they were like, "Well, no, we're keeping this personnel." Like, they didn't let him clean house, so he withdrew his name. So watch what happens if we're stuck with Gase and this guy, the Panthers are like really good and they have a creative offense. It's like, that's fucking why we still are bad, because you could have had a better coach. Now, if it doesn't work, that's one thing, but I'd be very curious how he does in Carolina. Yeah,
it's going to be interesting, and just like I said, we're long suffering Jet fans, and it sucks.
Well, why did you become a fan?
Huh?
You have to. Why did you become a fan?
My dad. My
mom was a Giants fan, and I decided to be different.
Yeah, Dad bought Jets pajamas. Yeah, it was Jets everything. So I kind of didn't have a choice.
It's a terrible thing to do to your son.
Yeah, terrible. Jets.
I think it's the worst thing you can do to your son. Make him become a Jets fan. I don't think there's anything. Jets and Knicks. It's just brutal.
Yeah, it's really bad. Knicks shouldn't be that bad, but it sucks, man.
Yeah, that LeBron tweet drives me nuts. It drives me nuts.
Oh, yeah, everybody wants to play in the Garden. Yeah, that sucks.
It's just like you would think the mystique is gone because they've been so bad, but it's not. They love.
It's going to be there because the Knicks are bad, and when the visitors come,
there's another timeline. There's another timeline where either James Dolan doesn't own the team, or in 2002 they don't trade for McDyess. They just stink, and then in 2003 they get a top 5 pick and they rebuild the right way. They just can never do it the right way.
I remember we talk about this a lot with Allen Houston. Maybe if he doesn't hit that shot, did things become pretty different?
Well, Van Gundy would have got fired, and it would have changed some things. And obviously, it's amazing they just didn't have the foresight back then for cap space and things of how you run a team. And they're never ahead of the teams that are ahead, like the Rockets and the Spurs and the teams that can find guys. They're never
great organizations. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Knicks are never gonna. I guess the thing is, the Knicks are never going to do well business wise because people are going to still go to the games. Unfortunately,
that's the problem. People go to the games. It's like if any other city, any other team was this bad for so long, people would stop going. But the problem is they have their cable network. Tourists go.
Yeah, I think that's the problem. Tourists and people from out of town wanting to see the opposing team,
There's
And,
very
like,
little incentive for them to actually win. You
yeah,
know, like you can make more money. They can make more money with playoff games, but
yeah.
it essentially doesn't matter
They're
because
still the most valuable franchise in sports. That's what's insane.
here's a question for James Dolan. 2 scenarios. You get one. The Knicks win a championship or JD and the Straight Shot becomes the most popular band in the world. I mean, he's picking his band.
He's picking his band, yeah.
There's no question he would pick his band. The Knicks, okay, how about this? The Knicks win a championship or JD and the Straight Shot gets asked, they get asked to do shows, not that they pay their way.
Yeah.
Or they like pay the Eagles to like fucking let them open for them. How about that? How about that, James? Your band
he'll trade it. Yeah, he'll trade it in a heartbeat.
Actually like it. It's just like he doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, and Dolan's so petty. I mean, you see how he treats the fans at every game. Like, you know, it's like, oh, kick him out. Kick, you know what I'm saying? You can't say anything. It's like
you can't say sell the team. You can't say sell the team. Apparently, it's like fucking saying I'm going to kill the president. It's like that. Like it's like why can't you say sell the team?
Yeah, he's running. Yeah, he's a dictator basically.
I wish everyone would do it every game. I wish they would. It bothers him, and
if it bothers that much.
I wish everybody every game. I know some of the Knicks fanboys don't like it, but I wish every fucking home game everyone did a sell the team chant nonstop, and until he fucking sold the team. And
yeah, which he probably won't because he's probably after a while, but it's just
and probably because of that too. I think a lot of that. I think if it was just like more of a he was more liked, I think maybe he would sell it.
Yeah, different. Yeah, but he's
really
such. Yeah, he's been. Yeah, you never hear anything good about him. You know what I'm saying? Maybe some players have said good things, but other than that, you know, you never hear too much good about coming from James Dolan. So
literally nothing ever. I think. No, nothing.
Yeah, nothing at all. No. Oh, do you like the Jets' new uniforms, or are they like, they're all right?
Fine. It's fine. Yeah. I think it's good to change it. I think they should change the name. I think they should leave the city. I think they got to change everything. But the jerseys are fine. Yeah, I like them. I think I like the black ones. Was that the one I liked? I text you.
Yeah, the black ones. Yeah, the black ones are cool.
I think the black ones look dope. Usually, black uniform looks awesome.
Yeah, like I think now like more teams are moving toward putting black in everything. I think that was in the mid '90s, in the like mid to late '90s, it was cool to like because the Knicks inherited black, and then like a lot of teams, the Mets had black jerseys, and like so I think that's coming back.
You can't really go wrong with black, like the '96 Bulls, the black and red.
Oh yeah, and they had the pinstripes for a bit
with going black.
Yeah.
Also, the Miami Heat ones, the new Miami Vice ones, you like those are black with like
the blue, the purple, the Miami, those are
going to be the home. Those are going to be the regular ones in a year or two. Everyone loves.
Yeah, they was like people,
fucking no brainer.
Yeah. So, any Ben Gordon stories or no?
I loved Ben Gordon.
I know. That's
why do I like Ben Gordon so much?
I because he's a shooter, but you know,
I like
Trae Young.
I feel like you're always partial to what you like, which is why I think it's funny Brian likes Penny so much that I'm like, I don't like Hakeem Olajuwon because Brian's a humongous person. But I always was partial. Like, my favorite players in basketball were like Allen Houston, right? I know he got the contract that like was terrible, but like he was fucking money.
Oh yeah, he was money. Yeah,
shooter, one of the most pure shots. I like Peja, Ray
that
Allen.
year when I first had season tickets. Yeah, I remember he had that 50-point game. It was phenomenal.
He had a couple of 50-point games. You're not
and he had that one in LA.
You suck. Peja, I loved Peja. I liked Rip Hamilton. I loved just like running around. Mm-hmm. Like Rip Hamilton would just run around. So I'm when I play basketball, I'm a 2 guard. So I was always partial to those guys.
And you were a big Steph Curry guy in the beginning too.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
Yeah.
I fucking love Steph Curry. I mean, we didn't get him, but like I loved Steph Curry. Coming out of college, I was like,
Davidson,
his handle is so good that's why it works out because he shifted to point guard. Like I thought it's probably going to work, but it might not because he's a little undersized. If he has to play 2 guard, that's tough. He's going to have to guard. But Steph worked because he's such a ridiculous handle that he can play point guard. He's just like that's the thing. People talk about Steph's shot.
Mm-hmm.
He would have been traded for Melo. I guarantee. Here's the timeline. You ready? Steph Curry, beginning of his career, ankles are shitty. He's like got the potential, but he's not living up to it. Now here comes Melo. Dolan's like, we got to get Melo. Melo's a proven star. You don't know what Curry's going to be. Melo's a proven star. The trade would have been like Curry and a few other players from Melo, and it would have been miserable because Curry's like amazing. But also, if he doesn't get in that team that's smart and drafts well, he obviously is not the same player. So,
yeah, it's crazy. All right, Jeff. So, thanks for hopping on, man. This was fun. Good memories. Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to plug before?
Yeah. I'm going to the Jets home opener. I'm going to shoot myself at the 50-yard line.
Like that episode of Curb.
That was so funny. Yeah.
Yeah, that was hilarious, man.
The Jets killed him, and kind of the Knicks.
Yeah, kind of the Knicks. Yeah.
Well, you're a bigger Knicks fan, right?
Huh?
You're bigger than NBA.
Well, Knicks trumps everything.
Me too. I'm bigger basketball than football.
Yeah.
Especially now, football, it's a little tougher to watch with like it's such a piece of shit league and like the head injuries. It's a little bit like basketball's a little more like guilt free, where it's like,
it really is.
Everyone's fine. You know, no one's like beating their girlfriends that I know of, like on a mass scale. Like football, where they're all on fucking.
Yeah, you don't suffer. Yeah, you don't suffer after.
It makes sense. I mean,
unless you played with Michael Jordan or something.
I know it's so barbaric. It's so violent. So it makes sense. It spills over. You're taking stuff to like, just like steroids or whatever. Like it's
and the NBA is such a progressive league. They're always thinking about something new to do. So,
yeah. It's a way more. That's why the players don't complain about none of the players are technically allowed to kneel, but because the NBA lets you wear T-shirts. And
it's to express yourself.
And it's not an issue. Whereas the NFL is so fucking tight and runs so poorly on everything. Where we know the anthem thing was the fucking National Guard. If you peel back a layer, it was the National Guard gave money for them to do that. It's not like they were doing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a bit, at the end of the day,
peel back a layer. It's just about money. But the NBA is run so much better that it's like the players don't. They can do political statements, and it's not a big deal. The coaches, Steve Kerr says shit about Trump all the time, and it's not like. It's not like he's going to get in trouble.
It's a free. Yeah. It's a progressive league.
Yeah, LeBron can say whatever he wants, and it is interesting the different times how players there is pressure that you need to speak out. I think because of social media. Whereas when Jordan played, people
Jordan could sweep that under the rug. Yeah,
it didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. Where if LeBron wasn't saying stuff, it would be a huge deal now. If LeBron didn't speak out, it'd be a huge deal because
why are you not saying that?
People want to know. They want to know. Yeah. They want to know that you support the right things, and And
that's good for the league and the NBA. It's encouraged. WNBA too. It's it's encouraged to do to express yourself, and they're not going to get penalized for it. So
yeah.
All right, dude. So thank you for hopping on. This was fun.
Thanks, man.
All right, man. So thank you again, and I'll probably text you later.
All right, later, buddy.
All right, man. All right, guys, that was Jeff Cerulli. As you tell, we have so much memories together. This was going to be a long show and a good show. I hope you stayed on. And if you're a Jets fan, who knows? We'll win someday. Thank you for all the guys chiming in on Facebook. Sorry, I don't during the thing. I just watched the cast on StreamYard. I don't get the Facebook date, so I apologize if I can't reply. But I'll find a way. Okay, guys. Once again, this is Rooting for Laundry. Follow us on IG and Twitter. Thank you for supporting. And next week, cover a different team. And we'll have some fun memories, different guests, good friends, not so good friends, associates, whatever. All right, guys. Thank you again. Have a good one. Peace.